This is my review on Imax enhanced version in the intended aspect ratio of Shang-Chi in the Legend of the Ten Rings. I give this easily a 5 out of 10. And the reason why I would say that is because this might have the least impressive CGI in terms of a model film out of the IMAX ones I've seen. So because I'm not sure if the movie's lacking imagination or lacking finishing the effects because of that. And when the end credits have better visual effects than the main film, I think that's a bit of a bad sign for visual effects quality. So, Shang-Chi I found was a little bland compared to all the other characters in the movie, including the main villain, which is his father. I'm just going to say the best characters out of the film are that steal the show is the father, who is not the Mandarin, because the Mandarin, now we find out in Shang-Chi, is not even a real thing. So not even the Mandarin that's supposed to be the Mandarin was teased the Mandarin in the trailers, and when thought that was the Mandarin is not the Mandarin because the Mandarin doesn't exist in the MCU. Before he exists as a punchline, was in the realms of Iron Man 3 story, and for so on until the short of the name in the name of the King Marvel short came out and said there is a real guy that calls himself the Mandarin. Except he doesn't, we find out in like that continuation in this movie. Yet the person that was impersonating the Mandarin still got captured and was going to get killed by that guy. That is not the man, but in the short film was called the Mandarin, goes by that name, but in the movie he doesn't, of this movie. Oh, I'm confused. And that's why, another reason why this has to give a 5 out of 10, because once you bring that in the problem, that's a big problem, because, you know, this actually, touches on the short Marvel short by saying, so by confirming that everything that for Iron Man 3 and in the name of the King short does take place in MCU canon main timeline, basically. So, but it also doesn't remember anything what it's the short or was about. That's epilogue of Iron Man 3. And that's the line is in the Promise movie. So this guy is not the Mandarin, and he doesn't go by the Mandarin, never has been. It was an American thing that was in the MCU content that the Americans made up. So wrap your head around that, how that makes sense, because that doesn't make any sense to me. And also so yeah, not the Mandarin guy that was supposed to be the Mandarin, but it now isn't the Mandarin because he doesn't go by the name of the Mandarin. It was Shang-Chi's father, and also the hairy creature that doesn't have a face or a head seems called I forget what that name is. What that's also in the movie. Those are the two best characters in the movie, the entire motion picture. That's still the show, and everyone else is kind of bland. It doesn't really stick out like Shang-Chi, the main character himself. I didn't hate him, I just don't love him like I think the movie wants me to have him. Like, I mean, I like Shang-Chi, but I just don't love him in this movie, or for this version of Shang-Chi. So it's I just didn't like care about any of the characters except for the father and the little hairy thing, and he's like so many characters are bland, or so many characters are annoying, or a mixed bag of 50-50 for the side and main characters of the film. And overall, boring or bland or annoying, either way, were kind of forgettable at times. Sometimes they were memorable and memorable, had some memorable scenes, but not that many. Very few in between. So yeah, this got more liked than Internals for some reason. Even when I would argue that I feel like there was less of a point to this movie than Internals had. Well, because I'm not even sure I know what the point was to this movie. I mean, or I mean, Internals was based the premise of the. I'm not even sure what the plot main premise the dilemma of the plot is like. I'm not sure what the point is. I mean, I guess the point for Internals versus the Shang-Chi is to save the world and stop their race from going extinct while preventing the apocalypse of the end of the world by putting the Celestials to sleep. Well, killing, I'm not still unclear, okay? Yeah. So still a little unclear with that battle I podcast, so yeah, and the point of this one has to be 10 rings, 10,000 years. So and so leader had the 10 rings, wants to force his only son to under the role of taking over the family business, and therefore the sister wants the family business, but because she's a woman, and the father is a sexist asshole. But in doing so, she ends up taking the family business over to Shang-Chi not wanting the family business, and she manipulating her way to getting into the family business and being the leader of the family business due to her father's death from his sacrificing the loved ones of his son. And his daughter his daughter saves Shang-Chi from something, and what I'm trying to say, I feel like there's too many points to this movie. There's too many stuff in this movie. I can't really figure out what the point of this movie is. I mean, if I had guessed for the point of in terms is revelation, something involving revelations and fellow history and stuff, something like that. But Shang-Chi, I would guess that's what for Internals would be. But Shang-Chi, whatever happens in the plot, I guess. Not really sure what the point was to making this movie or selling it. But hey, this got more liked than Internals somehow. I don't fucking know why. I personally think it's stupid. that a lot more people like this than Internals, because honestly, I just thought this was a much more pointless and stupid movie compared to Internals, and yeah, and a lot of stuff, even when it's like a lot of stuff, I feel like a lot of people, I guess, like says this movie weakens itself, or at least online. At least online critics say like the movie, the weakness part is when it comes to all these CGI fests, action scenes, but it's more stronger when it's like feels like a legit kung fu movie, I guess. Honestly, I don't agree with that, because the old kung fu things, I think, are worse than the CGI action fights, because, well, I mean, Christine have better job remembering the CGI action fights that was in the third act versus the first few versus early in the film, which was more kung fu stuff with some Marvel ideas. I thought that was kind of bland. I really like when it went over. I personally thought it was more memorable when it went more over the top with his action scenes within the movie, and because I have a better job remembering those ones. And then also the kung fu scenes that they're talking about, it's not really kung fu scenes. It's not CGI action fights meant to look like kung fu action scenes, because majority of the fights, you can tell, that's more, I mean, that's more CG. That feels a lot like that. I'm saying I don't discuss, but I think that's mostly CGI in these kung fu scenes. So they're not really, don't feel like an old-fashioned kung fu movie at times ever. And honestly, that I felt like the fact that that people come on saying it sometimes feel like an old-fashioned kung fu movie. Are we talking about how it's directed or how it's written? Written, maybe. Directed, no, because the fact that some online critics out there think that it's like an old-fashioned kung fu movie like that Shang-Chi and Bruce Lee did. I said to that, I say, how fucking dare you say that shit? You know, when they did that stuff, they used mostly practical and a lot of times you would use their own style look and practical effects majority of the time, and the point is, they really didn't overdo with the CGI, the old older kung fu movies, okay? So, and the thing is, the old kung fu movies, like, at least, I know it's the ones they're talking about, like, Enter the Dragon, or Rush Hour movies. See, here's the thing. In those kung fu movies, they knew how to keep the main character's life in danger. In this movie, Shang-Chi, that is not the case at all. They don't know how to keep this character's life in danger. They don't know how to keep other people around him life in danger, but he never breaks a sweat like Jackie Chan did or Bruce Lee would during a fight. While also fighting for their life and actually make it look like they're fighting for their life. So, I don't know how many online critics are out there and people are saying this, but I heard enough to say that is a fucking lie. If they're telling you that, they are lying to you. Or if they've never seen a old-fashioned kung fu movie ever in their fucking life, which is sad. So don't expect going into this movie it's going to be like an old-fashioned kung fu movie, because it's not. You're not going to get that. Sorry. But I gotta tell you that before you even think of seeing this movie. Because I don't want you guys being let down, because I was. So, and also, for some reason, there's lots of speaking in Mandarin when at times that when it doesn't feel like it's even necessary, or it feels forced often when they speak a different language in Mandarin with subtitles on the screen. So it's like, why are you speaking that? I don't understand. It just shows force, okay? But that's kind of what this movie feels like in the long run, in a nutshell. The whole premise, the plot, everything just feels forced. It feels forced at a lot of the times. The whole thing feels forced. And in terms of execution, of all the ideas they came up with within this movie, and that's why I guess a 5 out of 10. Goodbye, good night, and subscribe, like this video. I might make another video, or I might not. I'm not sure.